Lay foundation. In the earlier session, we had excavated for foundation. Now we proceed to lay the foundation. Foundation is the lowermost part of the building, and it spreads the weight of the building over a large area of land. The foundation holds up the building and keeps it from falling over. At the end of this session, you will be able to lay the foundation. As per our plan, the width of the foundation is 40 centimeters, that is 20 centimeters from either side of the center line. The foundation height is 20 centimeters and the basement height is 20 centimeters. Before we go into the procedure, let's take a look at the tools and materials required. The tools required are trowel, plumb bob, measuring tape, straight edge, bucket and mug, water level, broom. The materials required are 6-inch hollow blocks, thread, blocks, cement mortar, sand, water. We will now see the steps involved in marking the central lines on the excavated area. Connect the central line stakes over marked points. Spread a thin layer of sand over the excavated area. Wet the sand with water. We now need to mark points to reproduce the central line in the excavated area. For that, we need to apply cement mortar at the 4 corners in the excavated area. Using plumb bob, mark a point which is vertically aligned to the threads. Similarly, mark points at each corner. We now get 8 points. We now have the center line reference points. Remove the thread from the stakes. Now spread a layer of cement mortar mix with a ratio of 1:6 to the excavated area. Connect the points to reproduce the center line rectangle on the cement mortar. From one corner of the central line rectangle, measure and mark 20 centimeters outwards to the top and left. Now repeat the same procedure on all corners. Place the first hollow block from the top mark that we just made. Place another hollow block on the opposite end. We will now tie a string for level reference while placing the blocks. Tie a string with a piece of block and place it on the top of the first block in such a manner that the string is parallel to one side of the block as shown. Tie the other end of the string to another block at the opposite end in the same manner. Now start placing the blocks in alignment with the thread with 1 finger space in between 2 blocks. Also, ensure that the blocks are placed with the hollow part at the bottom. In case there isn't enough space to place a complete block, you can place a half block to adjust the space. Complete placing the blocks on one side. Now start filling the mortar between the blocks. Ensure the mortar is filled tightly in the gaps. Continue placing the blocks on the adjacent side. Let's now leave space for the P-trap as per the drawing. When you reach the fourth side, measure and mark the midpoint. From the midpoint, measure and mark 8 cm to either side for placing the P-trap. Rest of the space can be filled with the hollow blocks. Adjust the level using straight edges. Complete filling the mortar and finish the top with a thin layer of mortar. We now begin laying the second level of blocks. Spread a small layer of cement mortar in the ratio of 1:6 on the top of the first layer of hollow blocks. Place a hollow block on both ends of the same side. The placement of blocks should be such that if the bottom layer blocks have been placed lengthwise, then the top layer should be placed breadthwise. Now, with the help of a plumb bob, check the alignment of the block on the top layer with that of the bottom layer. Repeat the same process for the block on the opposite end also. Now check whether the two blocks on both ends are on the same level with the help of a water level. Place a block with a string along the edge of the hollow block at one end and place the other end of the string on top of the other block. This string will help us to align the remaining blocks to be placed at the same level. Now start placing the blocks between the two ends, leaving one finger gap in between. If the bottom layer blocks are placed lengthwise, then the top layer blocks are to be placed breadthwise and vice versa. Adjust the space in between the blocks by inserting broken blocks to ensure that they are tightly placed. Repeat the same procedure on the other sides as well. Measure all the sides to check if the length and the breadth of the foundation is as per our plan. You can also check and adjust the level of the hollow blocks placed with the help of a straight edge as shown. Ensure that the height of the foundation is 40 centimeters using a water level. If not level, adjust the mortar to increase the height if the level is low, or chip the hollow block if the level is high. Now, start packing the space between the hollow blocks with cement mortar. Now add a layer of cement mortar on top of the blocks. In order to give a rough finish to the surface, we can make marks on the layer as shown. We have successfully completed laying the foundation for the toilet. With that, we have come to the end of this session. In this session, we have learned to lay foundation, leave provision for the P-trap while laying the foundation. In the next session, we will learn how to raise the wall on the foundation.